Hello, can you all hear me?
Yes, we can.
Excellent.
We're just
Hillary,
hi.
it's so close.
It's so close.
Mongolia. I'm so sad to miss your Mongolia party.
Oh yeah, my neighbor. I should have sent you this. My neighborhood, my ward is hosting like a little meet and greet on Sunday.
Isn't that nice?
It's really nice. I know. I'm not even out yet.
I know.
And they're so nice.
You.
We really live in the spirit of interfaith.
Yeah, that's awesome.
That's
I
great.
love that.
I love it. Yeah. Yeah, I'm excited. It should be fun.
What time is it there?
In Morocco? Yeah. What time is it?
It's 1 a.m.
Oh,
Let's make this fast. We're gonna drag on and on and on.
I recently finished teaching my class, so I'm still awake.
wow, that's late.
So I leave for Mongolia January 2nd.
Okay, so we'll see you before that.
Well-
I can come see you before that.
Yeah, you can come see me before that.
I don't think there's a scheduled meeting.
Yeah,
This was the schedule.
Yes.
unless my visa doesn't come through, and then it'll be.
When do you find out?
Yeah,
Just anytime.
you know. I'm embracing the uncertainty.
Yes.
Okay, shall we get started, or do we need to wait for Matt? Okay.
I'm just gonna close the door.
Okay, so welcome everyone. We have a quorum for sure. Are you Ryan? Is that you?
My laptop is Ryan.
Oh, okay. Okay. I was like, who's Ryan who's joining us? Okay, so we're just gonna go through the agenda here. Number 1 is budget planning. Who has that one? Is that
I think it was
just-
like an
Yeah, we just talked
open
about
Okay, yeah.
wanting to brainstorm a
items.
budget with
preliminary.
like prioritize.
Right.
Yeah.
Nice.
I think in the last meeting, we kicked that can down the road a little ways to figure out
Okay.
what we wanted to ask for this year
Nice.
in budget, and then see see what happens after we ask for it.
So my notes from last month had of course, we want budget for the awards, which is just carry over what we already do, but potentially maybe new awards, like with landscaping or something like that. We talked about that. The bike valet, maybe for Orem Fest. Money for a bike rack at a park, at least like $1,000. And then money for any activities that we want to do. So that would include if we want more permanent stuff for a booth. It's like Matt kind of put something together out of stuff he printed, but if we wanted like a fabric
Right.
tablecloth or a banner or both, and then any food or giveaways that we want to have, I think there's
Right.
as well.
Yeah. Any other, like, if we're doing the bike.
Right,
Right,
like any
right.
donuts
Snacks
or
or-
anything that we want to do at any of these activities,
Yeah.
like if we want to do the pops again, yeah, the bike ride. You know, things like that.
every time.
That, all of those things sound to me like a budget of $2,000 or something, maybe $2,500 a year.
I was thinking like
Yeah.
2,500, yeah.
I don't see any reason why we couldn't ask for that. I think the question is who we ask. Michaela, do you have a sense of that?
I have no idea. Budget things are above my pay grade, I might say.
So what I think I remember Matt saying was something along the lines of we send him a like spreadsheet with the itemized items,
Yeah.
and then he will give that to
Matt knows where it needs to go.
Jamie or somebody,
It-
right?
Jason.
I
Jason.
think it goes probably to Jason Ryan.
So who wants to make said spreadsheet?
I mean, I don't know what numbers to put on things, but I can do what I just did and list off the stuff and make a guess, I suppose. And then everybody can let me know what you think the numbers should be.
Okay.
How much have the awards been in the past? Lynn?
Matt has always paid for them. I haven't paid for them, so I guess I haven't seen the receipts, but my impression is that they're about $75 each. So we end up paying around between 100 and 150 for our 2 global awards that we give out.
And then for the art contest, we have done a $50 gift card for one winner. So that's
Yeah.
been
Okay.
helpful.
Yeah. And there's, I mean, yeah, I have no idea what a custom made tablecloth print would cost, but I can throw some numbers on there and Matt can fix them up.
Yeah, I think he's done some before.
Okay.
So
Oh,
maybe.
sorry,
No,
t-shirts.
please.
Oh,
Oh, yeah, t-shirt.
We wanted to get new t-shirts for the committee
Yeah,
with the new logo.
that's a good idea.
If we are doing more booths, then that makes sense.
So I'm just gonna throw some numbers out there. Reshape them as you see fit, but say $300 for awards. It would give us enough money to be flexible a little bit with our awards. We don't have to beg for that each time. Let's say, I don't know, Sarah, how much for t-shirts do you think?
I have no idea how much t-shirts are.
It would be nice to get more than just 5.
Yeah,
Nice to get some that we could give to staff members in the city, and it would be nice to give some to affiliates if we get affiliates that, end up supporting us or interns or other things over time. So I'm thinking maybe like 20 t-shirts running $15 a piece, $20 a piece, maybe that's another $300 a t-shirt budget, something like that.
does the city have its own print shop, like for screen printing like that?
I don't think so.
Okay.
We can make you a custom road sign, but we cannot
Right,
make t-shirts
right.
as far as I'm aware.
Okay.
Ooh, we should get some custom road signs.
It's pretty awesome.
Um,
Yeah, that's all I know.
Darren, do you remember what the bike valet might cost?
Yeah, it was about, boy, I should look at this real quick. It was like $1,000. It was kind of pricey. Maybe it was like $700 for just one day. I think I think it was something like that. Let me look up. Let me look it up before I lie.
Thank you.
And then for tablecloth or booth things, I think it would just be nice for us to have several $100s in the budget for that. I think I've done a little bit of pricing on this before. And I think for a custom cloth or banner, I think we're talking about a few $100s for that. Something that can be reused over and over again. So now we're getting close to 2,000 right there.
And then you throw on the bike rack.
So yeah, the bike rack was about it. We were talking about $1,000.
About
See how far that gets us.
And how much of that would be part of other budgets?
Yeah, and that's what Matt was gonna talk about too. I think once he took our list and see what might be available.
And then food for events, support for events, flyers for events, things like that. I think that's another at least $500 there. So I think we're getting in the $2,500 range easy.
I think if the bike.
So the
We're well over 3,000.
Okay.
the bike valet, when I asked him 3 years ago, was $500 a day. And that's probably why $1,000 sticks in my mind, because we thought, oh, maybe 2 days. I think it was a little bit more when Matt asked this year, but I don't know. I might say $1,000, maybe a little less if we. I mean, we talked about just maybe piloting it for one day and seeing if it worked, and then the next year trying to get more money.
Was there a conflict with, I know last year they were already scheduled for another event, but is that other event a standard annual thing that they are likely to be booked this year as well?
I don't know. Matt talked to them about that.
Okay.
I'm coming in around 3,400 with the tentative prices with Verna.
I need to ask.
What I like about the budget proposal process and doing that is that then the city council can look at that and say, these are things we value or these are things we don't value, and tell us. If they want to give us less of a budget, then they can tell us which of these things they don't want to do.
Yeah. Mhm.
The other, so you'll make the spreadsheet and share it with us?
Yep.
And-
I can do
Okay,
that.
that sounds good. And then maybe, do we need to work on like prioritizing it, or should we just share it as is?
Maybe check with Matt, kind of have his initial review and see what there are things that he might recommend moving towards as far as knowing what would get support.
Yeah.
Was Debbie here last time when that conversation started?
No,
I don't believe so.
And I wonder if she'll, like, even though she's rotating off the council, I wonder if she'll continue to serve on this Forum Fest committee. I know she's enjoyed her time there, and so if she continues with that, if we can get that bike valet early enough and incorporate that in
I didn't know that.
we're just finishing the budget discussion, so expect, a
I-
spreadsheet.
Yeah, I will be sending you an itemized spreadsheet for feedback.
Okay, sounds good.
Okay,
Some feedback.
so we're moving to number 2, which is communication plan with city council. This was the one I added to the agenda. So after our last meeting, I made, I think like 6 posts or something. And I sent them in, and this is not like a critique on who manages the social media there. But there was one posted so far, totally fine, like I get that, but I'm just like, okay, maybe there's a way to be more efficient with this. Cause they take a little bit of time.
Who's this?
The like social media posts that we sent in.
Pete?
Yeah, and I'm not like criticizing Pete. I think there's just like not priority all the time with post the stuff we send,
Oh, okay.
which is fine. I get that. Like there's a ton of things that they post on the Warren City thing.
If you, am I always CC'd?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it
Because what
wasn't-
I do is, okay, I received this, but it was directed at Pete,
Yeah,
and therefore I file it and trust that Pete is gonna do what needs to be done.
yeah, for sure.
So,
Yeah, and it's not like, I'm not trying to critique
Oh, no.
him. Just saying maybe when the new council starts up and running, we can meet with them and say like, hey, what do you want us to educate people on?
yeah,
Because I think right now we're just like throwing things and maybe they're not always like aligned with really what the city
Well-
wants to talk about.
one, what I can do is, elevate that I don't
Okay.
automatically file it away,
Yeah,
that I snooze it for a week or whatever time frame seems appropriate, and then
Yeah.
I follow up with Pete to see if it's been scheduled or posted or what's happening with it. So I'm happy to take a little different approach of my management of that. We'll put a little more hands on it. As far as topics, I'm not sure if I'll talk to Pete. I already cued him into this discussion. I'm surprised he's not here.
Yeah.
Because I invited him, but so something may have come up. But
sure.
I don't know if he's part of the meeting that's going on
oh,
at 6.
yeah, maybe. We'll see.
Maybe right now.
Oh no,
I
no,
think he's not here today.
he may be out. But I will talk with Pete and say, okay, did these just slip through the calendaring crack, or was there content issues? And
Yeah.
I'll just have a offline conversation with him on that to find out what's really
Yeah.
going on. As far as topics for next year, I think that's a good discussion. That's why I wanted Pete here,
Yeah,
is so we could sort of get on the same page.
Yeah.
I don't want to control any of that other than say, going to the council to ask them right now is
Uh-huh.
probably not good timing.
Yeah, not right
for,
now.
For a number of reasons. One, we got a new council coming in, and unfortunately, stewardship, sustainability is not even on the political radar. I don't know. I don't get a campaign email here, but I'd be surprised if anybody's campaign mail talked about these issues, right?
yeah,
If they did, maybe they talked about water, but I doubt it, right? I'm sure it was all focused on housing, zoning policy, maybe business and
Yeah.
economic growth and responsible budget. Yeah, and transportation has, we don't want any more cars with
Right.
transit, right? So,
he
My
did
two-
post this nice green the holidays. I don't know if you guys saw that.
Yeah, I saw
That's
that one.
cute. Sarah always in her. She's like, what a great idea.
I love
I've
doing
never
that.
thought of this before.
Yeah, exactly. Do that.
You can always count on
I
me.
love it.
so I don't think this group coming in, this is even on their radar, and I know it's not on, other than trying to be anti-sustainability, it's not on the previous council member's radar either.
Okay.
Well, what I mean by that is, not anti per se, just not as
It's not on the top of the list.
top of the list, or not viewed in the same way
Yeah,
that you would view it. For instance, their balance, for like the water wise conservation grant, right? They're prioritizing some other
yeah. Makes sense.
things, trying to balance that. And so not that they were necessarily against it, but they wanted more freedom for property owners to have more control their grass and all that.
Sure.
So anti was probably the wrong word, just different priorities.
Yeah.
And so I think the other complication is the city doesn't really have a formal sustainability stewardship plan. There may be some, like we have some sub-documents. One is the Watt Smarts
Oh,
program.
the
we did.
energy action?
Yeah. But unfortunately, the guy that was heading that up, Nate, he went off to Hawaii. I've inherited a few assignments, but you know, nobody took full ownership of the document, so it's sort of just.
Yeah.
And it was never reviewed or adopted by the council either.
Okay.
Yeah, so normally what I would say is, well, okay, if we want a communications plan, let's find something that the council adopted and build our messaging through that. Because that's a clear statement of priority and policy, and but we don't have that. And then that I already mentioned, complicated to get that from them at this point. What I would suggest is let's focus on the city manager's office for that discussion.
Okay.
Now Pete is part of that office.
All right.
But I also interact quite a bit with Ryan, who's assistant city manager.
Okay.
And get their feedback about, okay, what are the type of topics that are going to be supportive of the administration's efforts in stewardship. Because they have a much clearer sense, because it's always on our radar as far as, you know, budget or implementing something or building a new project. And so the administration and the city manager is always thinking about this stuff. They're going to have a much better sense about, okay, what messaging would be helpful. So I'd be happy to try and arrange that type of meeting with at least Pete, but I tried and also like reel Ryan in at least.
Yeah.
And Jason Bench, and then just build sort of an internal administrative communication campaign that you can draw from for these posts. Like, here are the top 5 things. Let's focus on these for this year. This would help the administration implement X, Y, and Z. How's that sound?
Yeah.
I think that's the way forward. Yeah, I've been feeling like a two-pronged thing of, I hope my committee members don't feel like I'm shirking my like duties.
No.
And then also like, okay, maybe the posts I'm sending aren't really hitting the mark that they want. So like, how can I figure out what to do? 'Cause-
Knowing Pete, I would think more likely he's got caught up in other things.
Yeah, I mean, I
And
know
it
there's
slipped
a
through the
lot.
cracks, and it's just, you know, I don't think it's, but there are political things that, you know, I'll get that out of him privately and find out what's happening,
Okay.
why certain topics that may not have been posted. I don't think that's the case, but I'll find out.
That sounds good.
If you shoot me an email, Hillary, I mean, I'll shoot myself one right now. But if you shoot me an email in a week, just to follow up, I'll probably try and shoot for a meeting sometime in January. Is that okay?
I'll be joining remotely.
Oh, that's right.
But yes,
When do you
That's fine.
leave?
January 2nd,
Let me shoot for a meeting before January.
when the visa comes through.
Yeah, let me.
I think a meeting would be awesome if that's possible.
Yeah.
So Hillary can be there in person. And can
Yeah,
I just,
will try and get something for the end of the year. Just with people going out of town and stuff, it's gonna get increasingly hard. So if I can get something scheduled for next week or right before Christmas.
can you repeat,
Keep
Matt,
on going out.
be on the invite list, please? I know besides
Sure.
Pete.
Ryan and Jason?
And you're
Yeah,
welcome to
yeah.
text me them too.
Ryan,
So we want to
Jason,
make sure we don't have a quorum.
Okay.
So
Um,
only 2 of you,
Okay,
please.
you're not invited.
Otherwise, we'll have to.
Well-
I mean, we can, but we'll have to form a special agenda and meeting. and
Yeah.
publish
No,
it.
yeah, it's not. What are your plans as far as social media? Well, I mean, you're making plans, but you're also leading the country. But you're also planning on maybe attending virtually, so are you still planning on
Yeah, I'm still
creating
it.
content?
I sure
Okay,
am.
okay,
Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Is that content increasingly going to focus on like yak milk and yurts and things?
Yeah, likely.
Yeah.
We may discover some serious sustainability things that we could adopt
Yeah,
over there.
You're living there.
right. I thought actually, if you guys have been to my house, I have this, old house, giant lot. I thought, oh, the playground can go, we're gonna build a yurt. Yeah.
Nice.
Okay, that sounds good. I'm interested and I'm still planning on it.
Okay, awesome. I'll make comments.
Let's say, seeing what the shortest day of the year is. I'm weird.
Okay, we're on to number 3, winter event planning.
That was just a question that we had kind of brought up last time. Do we want to schedule a winter event? We had talked about maybe hosting something at the library. I don't know, like a garden planning thing or something else. Is that something that we think we have the bandwidth for? Do we have some ideas? Or do we want to skip that and focus on other events?
I like the idea of a quarterly event, Sarah.
Yeah.
I just think having I don't know if you remember at the Waterwise tour, I said that we aspire to have quarterly events when I was
Yes.
talking to. I don't think we have to hit it every quarter, but I think having a rhythm where we try to do that is a good idea. And I think winter shouldn't be an exception. So I like the library stuff. If we want to do something outside, I know Darren is a master snowshoer. And there are outside options as well. But yeah, I would be supportive of a winter event.
We wanted to do something with preparing like for spring planting or something like a garden or flowers or whatever. Do we have somebody who do a presentation on that?
So it might be something that we could find a partner at the Central Utah Water Conservancy District with the classes that they offer there. I don't know. I haven't looked at their calendar lately as far as what classes they're offering, but I think they want to partner with cities on community education. So I don't know if that's something that would have a special evening with them coming to the library.
Does Oregon have like a chapter like the Master Gardeners or anything?
I'm sure there are messages.
Right.
Well, like they give you they have a greenhouse, they give you like a seed starting.
I think Central Utah teaches classes on that too. I get their emails.
Yeah.
And they have a full-time education person.
Register to become one through the USU extension.
Yeah, US is a great resource.
I have a friend who's a master gardener.
I like to be a master.
Well, I mean, maybe we could start by reaching out to the Central Utah Water Conservancy and just see if they have like a class that they already do that they could just send their instructor to run a class
Yeah.
on water-wise choices or pollinator flowers or something. I don't know what they do.
I have this book called Utah Gardening Month by Month. And so maybe, I'm not saying I teach it, I'm just saying maybe that's
I
sort
think
of.
you just signed up for that.
No,
That's
no,
what I heard.
You should see my garden this year and you will not have a sign up. No, the idea is that maybe there's a person that could teach like, hey, this is what you gotta do for the next 3 months to get ready for a good garden this year. You know, start your seeds in, if you're gonna do indoor seeds, start them in February for these type of plants and March for these type of plants.
Yeah.
I don't know,
Too bad
this is
I'm
what you
not
can
gonna
do to the
do
soil, this is what you can do, I don't know, maybe that'd be. And if you really hard up, I could pull out the book and walk people through it, but I'm definitely not volunteering at all, because, I'd have to read the book.
Well, get on it then. You have a class to teach.
So-
Now, you want me to teach a class on decision analysis, I'll just get up there and do it.
Very different topics.
So realistically, in terms of timing with the holidays and everything like that, we'd be shooting maybe for February for this.
And that's a good time to start sort of the early
Yeah.
springtime garden planning. Cause yeah, if you want to do like peas, you can get those in the ground in March. You know, I've
Yeah,
never
I would even
necessarily got
say
peas
around
from
March
peas,
1st.
but I've tried.
March
If we're
1st.
gonna if we're gonna do a gardening thing, I don't know how many people are really thinking gardens in February, but March has a psychological effect on people, I think.
Oh, yeah.
And that's
Yeah.
still enough time to get your peas in the ground and your spring crops.
March
Your
7th is
radishes
a
and-
Saturday.
That's what I started.
Radishes and spinach.
For my tomatoes in mid-March.
I've never successfully grown any of those things because it's too cold out for me. I really want to go out there and garden in March. But
Yeah.
I do love tomatoes.
Well, I can see if I can reach out to the Water Conservancy and just see if I get any.
There's something great garden people.
Yeah, so I was thinking of Boston
Yeah.
and, yeah.
I don't know if you all heard that. There's a garden at UVU, the Grit Garden, and they could teach some of those too.
By the way, you will lose about 40 minutes of daylight moving to the winter park.
Oh, interesting. Thank you.
In
But not as bad.
January.
Not as bad as Copenhagen or. We lose about 2 hours.
Do y'all know the average high in Columbus higher in January?
Average. height.
Average high, let's see, 20 degrees Fahrenheit.
I thought you said height, and I was like.
What?
2?
Yeah,
degrees?
2
No.
degrees.
Oh my
Fahrenheit.
God.
What?
That
Yeah.
is high desert.
2 degrees.
What?
Fahrenheit.
High desert next to
What are you
Siberia.
even gonna do?
Is this the kind of place
We're
where you have to
gonna
buy
wear
a coat when
layers.
you get there?
Because they
nothing's
don't make
made.
coats like that here, yeah.
Layers, learn to layer, right?
Yeah, we're gonna layer. The kids are getting warm clothes for Christmas.
That's awesome.
Wow.
I know.
Oh
Now, do
my
you get
gosh.
a car or are you gonna be walking mostly or what is the
We're gonna walk
2 degrees Fahrenheit?
2 degrees Fahrenheit.
How far will you be from your teaching?
I'll be like 30 minutes from where I work.
Like a 30-minute walk?
30-minute
Yeah.
walk, 30-minute
Well, that's good
drive.
exercise
Yeah,
in 2 degrees.
follow my Instagram and I'll post pictures.
You know what? If you dress right, you'll be hot by the time you get to work.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
I know, right? Yeah.
I'm
Careful
gonna,
breathing me.
I don't do a lot of winter hikes, but the 2 I've gone up the canyon here.
Yeah.
Risk.
And about a mile in, I'm shedding off.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. For layers. Okay, this will be fun. So who's kind of taking the lead on this winter event? We need a point person.
So
You're already
I'm
doing the
the-
spreadsheet.
Well, I'm officially the events person.
That's true.
All right, you're doing something.
But we might change that at our retreat in
That's
January.
true.
But I can do
So
the
you can do
initial
the work
reach
right
out.
now.
I can do the initial reach out.
So are we thinking a tentative March 2nd?
March 2nd is a Saturday. If that helps.
Saturday morning, like the others ones have been.
I like that idea.
So
Or March 9th?
I will not be traveling.
Either one of those.
I'm around for both of those.
First. Might be rough.
Yeah.
My weekends are busy.
Yeah.
Oh.
March 2nd or 9th, it sounds like. We'll just see.
Did somebody propose where this would take place?
The library.
Yeah, we need to.
Which part of the library? In the place where we used to have the sustainability conferences?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Sarah, do you want to take the lead on finding space? It
Sure.
seems like you know the library. Is that okay with you, Quinn?
Yeah, that's great.
Okay, so Sarah's gonna take the lead on finding the space. And Paul's gonna take the lead on
Having a
contacting
speaker.
folks. Yeah,
Okay.
and then
And
we're gonna support.
If you need me to learn anything that I don't yet know to share, let me know.
Matt's gonna teach you.
A crash course on.
He's got a
I can pull out the book and read.
book.
If I am desperate, I can call my sister.
I can tell you how many times I failed trying to grow a pea.
I'll zoom in
Yeah.
because I'm good at her.
What I do know is that when you're trying to grow tomatoes and peppers, you're a tomato grower, Hillary, so you know this, is that when you start indoors, you just have to spray those seeds over and over and over again with no idea if they're dead or alive.
Oh, yeah.
It takes a long time, and then there's this ridiculous amount of joy when something starts sprouting.
True.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah,
and then you wonder if you should have just gone to Lowe's and bought the seedlings.
that's why I usually end up doing that after I start my seeds. I still go to Lowe's.
But this is a ritual we do every year.
Or they're just like, they're so pathetic.
Like exercise in hope. Every spring,
Yeah.
we think this is the year we're gonna get it right.
And
And
then
so we
I-
do it.
Hopes get dashed. And
Whatever,
we've been
I
looking
get
at
it
this
right.
seed until June. and nothing is-
It's a metaphor for
Yeah,
Life.
no,
Right,
it is.
it's
It's,
true.
yeah. Okay, I'm excited about that. I wish you well. We're at the January retreat agenda, item number 4.
Hey, but before I forget, can I just add one other
Yeah,
potentially good winter idea? It doesn't have to be for this year. It doesn't have to be for winter. But we have in the Utah Valley a lot of people who are poets and fiction writers and non-narrative nonfiction writers about the kind of stuff we care about. So about water, about just the natural environment here, and we could mix it up someday and do something kind of literary or artistic as a community event too, and I think that could attract a lot of people.
that's great.
Yeah. I like that.
I like it too. All right, the retreat agenda, item number 4.
I put that one on our agenda in part because I wanted to think about what to prepare for as we move into our retreat. As I recall, maybe we should just confirm this, that we are meeting on, what day is it?
January
It's
16th.
Tuesday, January 16th.
And are we meeting at our regular time?
Yeah, we're just gonna stay for 2 hours.
Yeah, 5
2
to
hours.
7 is what we have right now.
Those of you that have been through retreats with me before know some of the things that I like to talk about. I like it to be a moment where we reflect on what went well the last year, and where we make sure we're clear on who's doing what and what kinds of assignments we have. But I wanted to get your sense of things that, given where we are, what should we be talking about in that meeting? And I'll try to put some thought into it in advance.
I think it would be helpful, again, we've been ramping up our events. The Xeriscape tour was fun, and I think that we're all looking forward to kind of a more established presence in the community with events. So I think if we can get those like scheduled and organized, I think then that would help kind of provide a skeleton for messaging. How we're gonna allocate our resources.
So pencil in some stuff for an annual calendar, maybe. One thing that I just thought of that we haven't done systematically, but given what we're trying to do, it might make sense, is to do a stakeholder map. So to think about who we think our stakeholders are, and how we want to engage with them. I think that could be a useful exercise because we need to think about who in the city staff we want to interact with in what capacity, and how we want to interact with the city council in what capacity, and then who the other stakeholders in the community are. I think we're doing a lot of that naturally, but I might want to see if we get any insight in trying to map it out. Does that sound reasonable?
Yeah.
What else?
I like what you always do, Quinn, so that works for me.
We're in a good place because we actually are trying to do our assignments and we have stability this year. So there's less we need to start from scratch on, I think. But that's fine. If you think of anything in advance, I would like to think about how to allocate time across our various agenda items.
Well, we'll have a new council member. I don't know if we'll have that assigned in January by our January meeting, but hopefully by our February meeting, they will have their retreat and made those assignments.
Yeah,
So that will be, a good opportunity to.
I think that's a good opportunity, whoever comes in, to start having discussions about things like priorities.
Yeah.
And, because that's sort of the point of them being a liaison to the council. And, if out of your retreat, you came up with, hey, this is what we really think the most important issues are, balanced reasonably with the politics of one, right? Often what I want is far beyond what I can ever achieve here. And then take that to this new council and say, hey, we have a retreat, this is what we're thinking, coordinate that with them. And then just really encourage them, and maybe even some to come back and report back to you, so they have a little accountability on it.
Matt, given that we're having a retreat during the dinner hour, I'm wondering if we can have food at our retreat. And if the city, it's
Tuesday, Tuesday evening, January 16th.
Yeah, 16.
Yeah,
if
I will look into it.
yeah, if it's within the city budget and guidelines, great. If not, let me know, and perhaps I will just bring some for everybody as a private donation, but just let us know what you think.
Yeah, I will follow up on that. I think I have a pitch.
And we're going to do it in this room. Is that okay from the city perspective, that we can stay here till 7?
Yep. We are the only people in here after 5.
That's what I needed. Thank you.
Sweet, is that it for that discussion? Okay. All right, 5 is bicycle racks follow-up.
This is Darren.
Point where I said I haven't followed up on that, and I'm embarrassed once again that I have not done anything about that. Is that my cue?
Well, Darren first, and then we Shane.
Oh, okay.
The agenda.
Well, I thought the plan was, so I found out a little bit of information, right? I talked to the Mike Gorham people, and they sent me that email about, we've got a map of where all the bike racks are in the city and the city parks. And so that, that was on our to-do list, and we now have that. And, we need them everywhere. And I think the only other follow-up idea was that we were going to just put it in our budget. And I can't remember when we did our budget discussion earlier, did we include bike racks in that list?
Yes.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah, okay.
These items.
So I think we were just going to put some in our budget. And, yeah, I don't know, Matt, what you were supposed to follow up on. I think the only idea is that,
I
go
think
ahead.
I just, I know we talked about this several times and I've lost track.
Yeah. Yeah, I think we're just trying to build support for this. We're going to wait and just include it in our budget and hopefully get it funded, and maybe just do a couple of them at a couple of different parks and take it slow and see how it goes. I think that was the general plan.
A question about, so the city obviously could put bike racks in parks and that sort of thing. Like, what is the protocol if bike forum or we as a committee or whatever would like to approach a business about bike racks?
It's a private agreement between Bike Forum and, now if it's the city, but if you go through Bike Forum, that's a private agreement between them and the property.
Okay. Is there any way that
Provo
the city
Bike
can?
Collective has done that for years and years, and their new nonprofit is Bike Walk Provo. They've continued that.
So they just work directly.
They just work directly with
businesses
the
and
business
they
owners.
don't talk with the city has no role.
I'm not sure their funding source.
Oh,
Okay.
I'm not sure if they're drawing off city funds for the cost of the racks, but I know that they've facilitated this. Wherever the source of the money is, they facilitated that agreement between private property owner and Bike Walk Provo. I don't think it's an agreement between Provo City and the owner. So they're sort of a nonprofit managing that pot of funds, and so it's.
Yeah.
And usually it's not. Sometimes I don't know. Aaron Scabelin would know. I have some contacts I might know, but it might be a verbal contract. I don't know.
Yeah.
But it probably better have a simple document that people sign, just a half page or something.
Yeah, I think parks are a great place to start.
There are some high destination, areas that might be worthy of consideration. I don't like parking situation is over at University Place, small, like, especially by the
great if they
little
had a
splash
few
pad,
more.
well, the water garden, what do they have?
Yeah,
You
there's
know.
there's a few racks over by like their like little plaza thing. over
Okay.
by-
But they
by the
probably
movie
could use some more, but
it could be some-
and maybe if you did look at private property, stuff along high transit corridors like UVX, I would probably start there because
Mhm.
that's the type of interaction between private, the transit and the bike community. Like, it's that, we call it the last, first mile, last mile stuff. Well, okay, I got my bike to the bus and then I got to my place and now I have nowhere to park it. If I did do private, I'd start on UPX.
Matt, can I just confirm that my understanding is correct here? Did you want us to put bike racks in our budget, in our proposed budget, or did you want us to propose bike racks that would come out of a different city budget?
Now, to put it in here, in our NRSC budget, and in the budget process, the discussion, it's just there to get the conversation going. At the end of the day, the city management might say, well, we agree with funding it, but we think it's better managed by Public Works or something. And so then they can program their budget to manage that pot of funds. But I think also with that budget discussion is just 5 or 6 bullet points about your ideas about how that money is managed. Whether, this committee takes a more active implementation role, or you recommend that, the city contracts with a third party like Bike Forum to do this. Or you recommend that, Public Works manages it, assuming they're favorable and a champion, because you don't want to give money to somebody that doesn't want it. So I think with the budget, a few bullet points about how you envision that money being managed. Not that that's the right answer, but it will be enough to get them talking about it. I'm like, well, okay, good idea, but we'd rather see it done this way. So I have to give them a little bit of fuel.
Anything else for bike racks?
I think Darren just wanted to keep that on our radar, follow up.
That's awesome.
Right. Yes, that's correct. I just wanted to make sure that we don't lose track of it. That's all. No real decision point.
Sweet. Okay, the next is just the minutes from November 2nd. Approval of the minutes.
Okay, I was like, oh, man. No, there were just a couple of events but we can do the minutes first.
Okay. Approval of the minutes. Do you have any corrections or modifications, additions to the minutes?
See anything that didn't look right to me. It looked good to me.
I wasn't there, so I don't feel like I can correct things.
Great.
Okay,
So I moved to approve.
okay, there's a motion to approve. Is there a second? All in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay, great. So now maybe we have some announcements?
Just a couple of events that are on my radar. Tonight at 6 o'clock at the Chambers is the stakeholder meeting for the Forum Front Runner Station, the Orem Station area plan. So it's gone through several versions of public comment, and so there, if you want to go part of that meeting.
Sarah, what are people trying to accomplish there? What's the forward momentum on that?
So far, so the state essentially said every city that has a front runner station needs to come up with an area plan and go through this process. So the city hired a consulting firm, and they've been going through this in public sessions, getting feedback, and then taking that feedback, and they came back with 3 scenarios. And then they've had feedback meetings on those scenarios. And this meeting at 6 is the first meeting after that.
So they're presenting their recommendation.
So I'm not quite sure. Darren, I don't know. I know that you're also.
They've got the survey results.
Yeah, they had a. they had a
Right,
survey.
survey, thank you. Yeah, there was a survey.
Which is what people use to analyze the 3 scenarios.
So that's what this one is reporting on, the survey.
Has this been a contentious process to date?
Yes.
Right.
And is the contention essentially being mad at the state for mandating a plan?
That's part of it, yeah. And then you have conflicting values and goals depending on who you are. And so there's been conflict among.
Different perspectives.
Yeah.
A lot of different perspectives.
So there are folks who would like no interference, no kind of planning, just let Orem, like just kind of a hands-off approach to that area. And then, different scenarios.
Are you gonna go?
I am gonna go, yeah.
Thank you for going to that. That's something that I care about and just haven't had the energy to pay attention to.
Yeah. And then the other one, I did forward it to everybody that got on my radar. It's an open lands conference. It's co-hosted by Utah Open Lands and Conserve Utah Valley. being held at the Spanish Fort Library on January 10th in the evening. And I think some of it is talking about like conservation easements. It looks like two county commissioners, Commissioner Gordon and Sakovich, will be speaking, and then some other people. I can't bring my phone far enough away. I don't have my glasses on, so, but I sent it to you.
Utah Open Lands and city officials.
Yeah.
Panel of city officials.
So if you're interested in that, there's also a Zoom option on that. That will have on hybrid.
Thank you for sharing those. I wish I was there to go to those.
Great, any other announcements or things that we should keep our eyes open for?
While we're at it, is there anything that you all know should be on the agenda for January that we can just tell Michaela now to start keeping a list for?
Oh, I think by then the Utah Lake Authority will have a new executive director. About them.
Did they put out a job posting or they hired?
Job postings up. Closes
Closes
tomorrow.
tomorrow.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
You're so efficient, Hillary. Way to go.
5 minutes to spare. So we can adjourn, I guess. Or we can talk about Mongolia after.
I will motion to adjourn.
Okay,
Okay, I'll second.
second. All in favor?
Aye.
I
Great.
Thank you. I will find you, Hillary, and make sure I come by your house and see you before you go to Mongolia.
That sounds good. We're around.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Yeah, see you.
Bye.
Safe travels.